Hello, everyone, and welcome to English Listening Practice Hub. My name is Emma, and I'll be your guide in today's English listening practice. In this episode, we'll practice slow English, perfect for A1 and A2 level learners. You will hear real, natural English sentences that you can understand easily. This story will help you improve your listening, pronunciation, and vocabulary in a calm and relaxing way. So, take a deep breath. Find a quiet place. Put on your headphones. And just listen. Don't worry if you don't understand every single word. Just relax and enjoy the story. Today's story is about a simple life in a small town. It's about daily routines, friends, work, food, and dreams. Through this story, you'll learn how to talk about your day, your feelings, and your plans, all in clear, natural English. Are you ready? Let's begin. My name is Emma. I live in a small town near the mountains. It's a quiet place with clean air and friendly people. Every morning, I wake up at 7 o'clock. The sun shines through my window, and I can hear the birds singing outside. I get out of bed slowly, stretch my arms, and smile. A new day has started. I walk to the bathroom, wash my face, and brush my teeth. Then I look in the mirror and say, "Today will be a good day." After that, I make my bed. I always like my room to be clean. I open the window to let the fresh air come in. Then I go to the kitchen to make breakfast. My breakfast is simple. I usually eat some bread, an egg, and drink a cup of coffee. Sometimes I eat fruit too, an apple, a banana, or some grapes. While I eat, I listen to some soft music on my phone. It helps me start the day with good energy. After breakfast, I check my phone. I read some messages from my friends and answer a few emails. Then I get ready for work. I work in a small bookstore in town. I love my job because I love books and I love talking to people. At 8:30, I leave my house. The weather is usually nice in my town. In the morning, it's not too hot and not too cold. I walk to the bus stop and I meet my neighbor, Mrs. Green. She is an old lady, always smiling. "Good morning, Emma," she says. "Good morning, Mrs. Green," I reply. "How are you today?" "Oh, I'm fine, thank you. I'm going to the market. Do you want anything?" "No, thank you. Have a nice day." She waves and I smile. It's always nice to see her in the morning. When the bus comes, I sit near the window. I look outside and see people walking, kids going to school, and dogs running around the park. It makes me feel happy. I like watching people. Every face has a story. The bus ride takes about 15 minutes. When I arrive at the bookstore, I open the door and say hello to my coworker, Tom. "Good morning, Tom." "Morning, Emma. How are you?" "I'm great. Ready for another busy day." Tom laughs and says, "Always." We start working together. We clean the shelves, organize the books, and prepare the shop for customers. At 9 o'clock, people start coming in. Some come to buy books, some just to look around. I help them find what they want. Sometimes I recommend a book and they smile, saying, "Thank you. That's exactly what I needed." That makes me feel good. Helping people find the right book is like giving them a little piece of happiness. At lunchtime, Tom and I go to a small cafe near the shop. The cafe smells like fresh bread and coffee. We always sit near the window. I usually order a sandwich and a cup of tea. Tom always gets the same thing, pasta with cheese. We talk about many things, books, movies, weekend plans. Tom likes adventure movies. I prefer romantic ones. He always says, "Emma, you need more action in your life." And I laugh. Maybe, but I like stories about love. After lunch, we go back to work. The afternoon is quiet. I organize new books, check the computer, and talk to customers. Sometimes children come with their parents. They look at the colorful books and smile. I love seeing that, children discovering reading for the first time. When the clock shows 5, it's time to go home. I say goodbye to Tom, close the shop, and walk to the bus stop again. The evening light is beautiful. The sky turns orange and pink. I love that moment. It makes me feel calm. The bus comes, and I sit again near the window. I listen to some music and think about my day. I like my life. It's simple, peaceful, and full of small moments that make me happy. When I get home, I make dinner. Sometimes I cook pasta or rice with vegetables. Sometimes I just make soup. I eat slowly, enjoying every bite. After dinner, I take a shower, wear my pajamas, and sit on the sofa. I read a book or watch something in English to practice. Before bed, I write in my journal. Today, I worked, I smiled, and I learned something new. Then I close my eyes and fall asleep peacefully. It's Friday morning. The sky is clear, and the sun is already shining when I open my eyes. I stretch my arms and smile. Fridays always feel special. They are full of energy, hope, and little dreams about the weekend. I get up, make my bed, and go to the kitchen. The smell of fresh coffee fills the air. I toast some bread and spread a bit of butter on it. I also cut an apple into small pieces. Breakfast is simple, but I enjoy it. While I eat, I think about the weekend. I have no big plans yet, but I want to do something relaxing. Maybe go for a walk near the lake, or visit the small market in town. There's always something nice to see, music, food, and smiling people. At work, everyone is already talking about their weekend. Tom says, "I'm going hiking with my friends tomorrow." "That sounds great," I reply. He smiles and says, "You should come, Emma. You always say you love nature." I laugh. Yes, I do. But I also love sleeping on Saturday morning. Tom laughs too. He knows I enjoy quiet weekends. The day passes quickly. Many people come to the bookstore on Fridays. Some buy books for their weekend reading. Others come just to talk. There's an old man named Mr. Wilson who visits every week. He loves history books. He says, "Emma, when I read about the past, I feel young again." I smile. "Then reading is your time machine, Mr. Wilson." He laughs loudly. "Yes, that's right. A time machine made of paper." That's what I like about this job. Every person brings a new story. When work ends, I walk home slowly. The evening air is warm and soft. Children are playing in the park. Some people are walking their dogs. The smell of food comes from the small restaurants near the street. I stop at one of them to buy a sandwich for dinner. The man at the counter knows me well. He smiles and says, "The usual, Emma?" "Yes, please," I answer. He gives me my favorite chicken sandwich with salad and a little bit of cheese. It tastes amazing. The next morning, I wake up later than usual. It's Saturday. The sunlight is soft and golden. I stretch, open the window, and breathe deeply. The weekend has started. I make myself a cup of tea and sit near the window. From here, I can see the mountains in the distance. The town is quiet, no cars, no noise, just birds. After breakfast, I decide to go to the town square. There's a small weekend event today, a local market with food, crafts, and music. I put on my jeans, a white t-shirt, and my favorite sneakers. Then I take my small bag and leave. When I arrive, the square is already full of people. There are colorful tents and small tables with handmade things, candles, jewelry, paintings, and homemade cookies. The smell of bread and coffee mixes in the air. Someone is playing the guitar. The sound is peaceful and makes me smile. I walk around slowly. At one table, I meet an artist named Sarah. She sells small paintings of the mountains. They are beautiful, soft colors, calm and full of life. "Hi, these are lovely," I say. "Thank you," Sarah answers. "Do you like painting?" "Yes, but I'm not very good at it." She smiles. "You don't need to be good. You just need to enjoy it." I like that sentence. It reminds me that sometimes we forget to do things just for fun. After walking for a while, I buy a small painting of the lake, the one near my house. It looks peaceful. When I look at it, I can almost hear the water and feel the wind. I also stop at a food stand. They sell fresh lemonade and little cakes. I buy one and sit on a bench to eat. The air is full of laughter and music. A group of kids are dancing in front of the stage, and their parents are clapping. Next to me, an old couple sits quietly, holding hands. They look happy and calm. I think to myself, that's what love looks like, quiet but strong. After a few hours, I walk back home. My feet are a little tired, but my heart feels full. I put the painting on my desk and make a cup of coffee. Then I write in my journal. Today was simple but perfect. I met kind people, saw beautiful art, and remembered how wonderful small things can be. As the sun sets, the sky turns orange again. I sit near the window and listen to the sound of birds. It's a good ending for a peaceful day. Before bed, I call my friend Lily. We talk for a while about our week. She lives in another city, but we speak every weekend. "How was your day, Emma?" she asks. "It was beautiful," I say. "There was an art market in town. I bought a small painting." "Oh, that sounds so nice. You always find peace in small things." I laugh. Maybe that's my secret. I don't need big things to be happy. We talk for a few more minutes, then say goodnight. Before I sleep, I look at the painting again. It makes me smile. Sunday mornings are different. They feel slower, softer, and warmer. When I open my eyes, sunlight fills my room, and the sound of distant church bells floats through the air. It's quiet outside, and for a moment, everything feels perfectly still. I stay in bed for a few minutes just thinking. No alarm, no rush, no schedule, only peace. Then I check my phone. There's a message from my friend Lily. "Good morning, Emma. Let's meet for breakfast at the cafe near the park. I smile. Of course, I want to go. I love spending Sunday mornings with friends. I get up, wash my face, and make my bed. Then, I put on a light blue dress and a simple pair of shoes. I brush my hair, look in the mirror, and say softly, "Today will be another good day." Before leaving, I drink a glass of water and grab my small bag. The weather is perfect, bright, but not hot. The air smells like flowers. I take a deep breath and start walking to the cafe. The cafe is called Sunny Corner, and it's my favorite place in town. It has large windows, wooden tables, and plants everywhere. When I walk in, I see Lily waving at me from the corner. "Hey, Emma," she says. "Hey, Lily. You look great today." She laughs. "Thanks. I was just thinking the same about you." We sit near the window, and a waiter brings us the menu. Everything looks delicious. Pancakes, eggs, sandwiches, fresh juice. We both decide to order pancakes with strawberries and honey, plus a cup of coffee. While we wait, we talk about life. Lily says she's thinking about moving to another city for work. She wants to try something new, something exciting. "I'm scared," she says quietly, "but also curious." I smile and take a sip of coffee. "That's how all good stories begin," I say, with a little fear and a lot of curiosity. She nods. "You always know how to make me feel better, Emma." I laugh. Maybe it's because I spend my days talking to books. The pancakes arrive and they look perfect, golden brown with fresh strawberries on top. The smell of coffee fills the air. We eat slowly, talking about everything and nothing. That's the magic of friendship. No plan, no pressure, just comfort. After breakfast, we decide to walk through the park. The park is full of green trees and colorful flowers. There's a small lake in the middle, and ducks are swimming lazily on the water. Children are running, parents are smiling, and the sound of laughter echoes in the distance. We walk on the path that circles the lake. Sometimes we talk, sometimes we stay quiet. Silence feels natural between us. Lily says, "You know, sometimes I wish I could slow down like this every day." I nod. Maybe life doesn't need to be fast. Maybe it just needs to be meaningful. She smiles. "You always make things sound so simple." "Because they are," I say softly. "We just forget." We sit on a bench near the lake. The sunlight reflects on the water like small diamonds. A light breeze moves the leaves around us. It feels like time has stopped. After a while, Lily says she has to leave. She hugs me tightly and whispers, "Thank you, Emma. I always feel better after talking to you." I smile. That's what friends are for. She walks away and I stay there a little longer. I close my eyes and listen. Birds singing, wind moving, people laughing. The world feels alive, and I feel grateful to be part of it. When I open my eyes again, I see a little boy feeding the ducks. He laughs every time they move closer. His mother stands nearby, smiling. It reminds me of my own childhood, the simple happiness of small things. On my way home, I stop by a small flower shop. The woman there knows me. "Hello, Emma. Would you like your usual daisies today? Yes, please. They always make my house brighter. She wraps them carefully and ties a yellow ribbon around the bouquet. I thank her and walk home with a smile. When I get home, I put the flowers in a glass vase on the kitchen table. Then I make a cup of tea and sit near the window. The painting of the lake is still on my desk. Now, with the flowers beside it, the room feels even warmer. I write in my journal again. Today I spent time with a good friend, walked in the park, and remembered how peaceful life can be when you slow down. The day ends softly, with quiet music playing in the background and a gentle sunset outside. It's a simple Sunday, but for me, it's perfect. Monday morning arrives quietly. The soft sound of rain taps on my window. The sky is gray, and everything outside looks calm and fresh. I open my eyes slowly and smile. A new week has started. I get out of bed and walk to the kitchen. The smell of coffee fills the room as I pour a cup and sit near the window. Raindrops slide down the glass, making tiny rivers that sparkle in the light. I take a sip and say softly, "New week, new chance." After breakfast, I put on my raincoat and grab my umbrella. Even though the sky is cloudy, I feel good. There's something beautiful about rainy days. They make the world slow down. The walk to the bus stop feels peaceful. The streets are quiet. The sound of rain mixes with the rhythm of my steps. People move quickly, holding colorful umbrellas. I like watching them, each person walking through their own little story. When I arrive at the bookstore, I shake my umbrella and step inside. The warm smell of paper and coffee greets me. Tom is already there, arranging some new books on the table. "Morning, Emma," he says. "Morning, Tom. Rainy day again, huh?" He smiles. "Yeah, perfect day for reading." He's right. Rainy days always bring more customers. People love coming in, holding a cup of coffee, and getting lost in stories. At 10 o'clock, a few people walk in. Some look around quietly, others ask questions. A little girl comes to the counter with her mother. She's holding a small, colorful book about animals. "Do you like animals?" I ask her. She nods shyly. "I have a cat named Snow," she says softly. "That's a cute name." She smiles and looks happy. Moments like this make me love my job even more. After they leave, a young man enters the store. He looks a little nervous, like someone searching for something important. He walks around for a few minutes, then comes to me.
Hej,
"I'm looking for a book about writing," he says. "Do you mean creative writing or academic writing?" I ask. He thinks for a second. "Creative, I think. I want to write stories." I smile. "I think I have just the right book for you." I take him to a small shelf near the back. There's a book called The Beginning of a Story. It's simple, full of advice for young writers. I hand it to him. "This one helps you start small and keep writing, even when you feel stuck." He looks at the cover, then back at me. "Thank you. I always wanted to write, but I never knew how to begin." I say, "The secret is to begin anyway. Don't wait for perfect. Just start." He smiles and nods. When he leaves, I feel something warm in my chest. It's a good feeling, helping someone find their first step. The day passes quietly. The rain continues, soft and steady. Customers come and go. Some buy gifts, some buy books for themselves. In the afternoon, I take a short break. I sit near the window, watching people outside. Everyone walks fast under umbrellas, but I feel calm. I open my notebook and start writing a few lines. Every story begins with a moment of courage. Sometimes writing feels like breathing. It's not about being good. It's about being honest. When the clock shows 5, Tom and I close the shop. The rain has stopped and the air smells clean. We walk to the bus stop together. Tom says, "You know, Emma, you should write a book one day." I laugh. Me? I don't know what I'd write about. He smiles. You already have a story. You just need to start telling it. His words stay in my mind the whole ride home. I keep thinking about that. Everyone has a story. Maybe it doesn't have to be big or famous. Maybe it just needs to be real. When I get home, I light a small candle, make tea, and sit at my desk. The sound of rain is gone, replaced by soft evening silence. I take a deep breath and open my notebook again. I write the first line of my own story. My name is Emma, and I live in a small town near the mountains. Then I stop and smile. It feels strange and exciting at the same time. Maybe Tom was right. Maybe this is how every story begins. Quietly, on a rainy Monday night. Tuesday morning starts with sunlight touching my face. The sky is bright and clear, and the rain from yesterday has gone. I open my window, and the air feels fresh and light. It smells like new beginnings. I make a cup of coffee and sit at my desk. My notebook is still there, waiting for me. I open it slowly and look at the first line I wrote last night. My name is Emma, and I live in a small town near the mountains. It feels strange to read about myself, like I'm meeting a new person. I smile. Maybe writing is like looking in a mirror. You see what you already know, but in a new way. I start writing again. At first, my hands move slowly, but after a few lines, the words begin to flow. I write about the bookstore, about Tom, about the people who come in every day. I write about the old man who loves history, and the little girl with the book about animals. I write about how quiet mornings make me feel safe, and how rainy days make me feel alive. Time passes without me noticing. The world outside becomes quiet, but my mind feels full of life. At work, I feel different, more aware, more inspired. Every person who enters the store feels like a character in a book. The woman reading travel guides, maybe she's planning a new adventure. The boy in the corner, maybe he wants to escape into a fantasy world. The couple looking at cookbooks, maybe they're starting something together. I begin to see stories everywhere. Every voice, every smile, every small moment feels like a chapter waiting to be written. Tom notices my mood. You're smiling a lot today, he says. I laugh. Maybe I just see things differently now. He raises an eyebrow. You started writing, didn't you? I nod. Yes. It feels strange, but good. He grins. I told you, Emma. Everyone has a story. His words stay with me again. After work, I go straight home. I don't even change my clothes. I sit down, open my notebook, and keep writing. This time, I write about my friend Lily, how she's brave enough to chase new dreams. I write about Mrs. Green, how she always smiles even when the world is gray. And I write about myself, how I'm learning to see beauty in small things. My hand starts to hurt, but I don't stop. It feels like the story is coming out by itself, like the words were already there, waiting for me to listen. When I finally stop, it's dark outside. I light a candle and read what I've written. It's not perfect. Some sentences are simple, some are clumsy, but it's mine, and that makes it beautiful. The next morning, I bring my notebook to the bookstore. During my lunch break, I show it to Tom. He reads quietly, turning the pages slowly. I feel nervous watching him. When he finishes, he looks up and says softly, "Emma, this is real. You write like you speak, simple, but full of meaning." I blush a little. "You really think so?" He nods. "You make ordinary things sound alive. That's rare." His words make my heart warm. I never thought my quiet days could matter to anyone. But maybe stories don't need to be big to be powerful. Maybe they just need to be honest. Later that evening, I call Lily again. She answers with her usual bright voice. "Hey, writer girl," she teases. I laugh. "Who told you?" "Tom sent me a message. He said you finally started." I smile. "Yes. And I can't stop." "That's the best kind of magic," she says. We talk for a long time about dreams, plans, and how strange it is that sometimes the smallest changes in our lives can make everything feel new again. Before we say goodbye, she tells me, "Emma, your story might inspire someone one day. Keep writing." Her words echo in my head after the call ends. I sit by the window, the stars shining faintly outside, and I whisper to myself, maybe that's why I started, to inspire someone, even if it's just one person. That night, I fall asleep with my notebook beside me. The candle still flickers softly. I feel peaceful, like I'm finally doing something that belongs to me. The sound of the wind outside mixes with my thoughts. And for the first time in a long time, I dream not about what I don't have, but about what I can create. The next few days move gently, like pages turning in a calm breeze. I wake up early every morning, drink my coffee, and right before work. It becomes my quiet ritual, a small moment of peace before the world begins. Some days, the words come easily. Other days, I stare at the blank page for a long time. But I write anyway, because I've learned that writing, like life, is not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about showing up, even when it feels difficult. At the bookstore, I start to notice something different. People are not just customers anymore. They're stories. Each one carries a piece of life that could fill a chapter. One afternoon, a woman walks in holding a small notebook. She looks a bit shy. "Hi," she says softly. "I was here last week. You helped me find a book about writing." I smile. "Oh, I remember you. How's it going?" She opens her notebook and says, "I started writing too." I feel a warm happiness inside. "That's wonderful," I say. "How do you feel about it?" She hesitates for a moment, then smiles. It feels like I found my voice again. We talk for a few minutes about writing, ideas, and fear. Before she leaves, she says, "Thank you, Emma. I think your kindness gave me the courage to start." When she walks out, I sit still for a moment. It's strange. I didn't realize my small words could mean something to someone else. But maybe that's what connection really is. Small acts that create big changes in quiet hearts. Later that week, Tom tells me about something new. Our shop is going to host a community event next month, he says. What kind of event? I ask. A small evening reading. People can share stories, poems, or anything they've written. My eyes widen. That sounds beautiful. He grins. You should read one of your stories. I shake my head quickly. Oh no. I could never do that. Why not? I don't know. Maybe I'm not ready. Maybe my writing isn't good enough. He looks at me seriously and says, Emma, good enough doesn't exist. Honest stories always find their place. I stay quiet, but his words echo in my head all day. Honest stories always find their place. That night, I open my notebook again. I read what I've written so far. It's not perfect, but it's real. It's my life, my thoughts, my voice. And maybe that's enough. The next day, while I'm helping customers, I see a little sign near the counter. It says, Writer's Evening, share your story. Next Friday at 6 p.m. Everyone is welcome. My heart beats faster. Friday. That's only 1 week away. Should I do it? Should I share my story? All day, the question follows me. When I walk home, when I eat dinner, even when I try to sleep, part of me is scared. But another part, a small, brave part, whispers, You've written about courage. Now it's time to live it. Friday comes quickly. The bookstore looks different that evening. There are candles on the tables, chairs arranged in a circle, and a small microphone near the front. Soft music plays in the background. People come in slowly, smiling, holding notebooks and pieces of paper. Tom walks over to me and says, Are you ready? I laugh nervously. Not really. He pats my shoulder. That's how everyone feels before they do something brave. The event begins. One by one, people go up and read their stories. A young man shares a poem about his grandmother. A teenager reads a funny story about her dog. Everyone claps after each reading. Then Tom calls my name. Next, we have Emma, our very own storyteller. My heart races. I walk to the front, holding my notebook tightly. The lights feel warm on my face. For a second, I can't speak. Then I take a deep breath and start reading. My name is Emma, and I live in a small town near the mountains. I work in a bookstore, and every day I meet people who love stories, but sometimes forget that they have their own. The room goes quiet. I continue reading, my voice trembling a little, but steady enough to carry the words. I talk about simple days, rainy mornings, friendship, kindness, and courage. As I finish, I look up. Everyone is silent for a moment, then they start clapping. Tom smiles proudly, and I see tears in the eyes of the woman who started writing last week. Something changes in me at that moment. I realized that stories are not meant to stay in notebooks. They're meant to be shared. When the event ends, people come to me and say kind words. Your story felt so real. I saw myself in your words. You made me remember why I started writing too. Walking home that night, I feel light, like I've left fear behind. The moon shines above the quiet streets, and I whisper to myself, I did it. When I reach home, I put my notebook on my desk and write one last line for the day. I spoke my truth tonight, and it felt like flying. Then I smile, turn off the light, and let the peaceful silence of the night fill the room. The morning after the event, I wake up with sunlight touching my face and a quiet smile on my lips. The sound of birds fills the air. Everything feels softer, lighter, like the world has changed, even though it looks the same. Maybe the world didn't change. Maybe I did. I walk to the kitchen and make coffee the same way I always do. But today it tastes different. Maybe it's just coffee. Or maybe it's the taste of courage. While I sit near the window, I remember last night. The faces, the applause, the warm light, the small tremble in my voice. I remember how scared I was before I started speaking, and how free I felt when I finished. It was more than just reading words. It was like sharing a part of my soul with strangers, and they understood. That feeling still stays in my chest, glowing like a quiet fire. When I arrive at the bookstore, Tom is already there, making coffee as usual. Good morning, writer, he says with a big smile. Good morning, I reply, laughing. Don't start that again. He shrugs. Why not? You earned it. People loved your story last night. I blush a little. Really? Really, he says. You should have seen their faces. You made people feel something, and that's the best kind of writing. For the rest of the morning, customers come and go, as always. But now, I feel something new, a sense of quiet confidence. For the first time in my life, I'm not afraid to be seen. A few hours later, the same woman who visited before, the one who started writing, walks in again. She's smiling. Emma, she says, your story last night made me cry. It reminded me of my own life. I smile back. That's the best thing a writer could ever hear. She nods. You should publish it. Her words surprise me. Publish it. I repeat softly. Yes, she says. Your story could help people. You have a gift. She leaves, but her words stay behind like a seed in my heart. That evening, when I get home, I sit at my desk again. The house is quiet, and the smell of tea fills the room. I open my notebook and start reading everything I've written so far. There are small mistakes, simple sentences, uneven paragraphs. But between the lines, there's life. I touch the pages gently and whisper, maybe it's time to share this with more people. I take a blank page and write at the top, a small life, stories from a quiet town. It feels right. That's what my story is, simple, honest, and full of small moments that make life beautiful. I decide to type it into my computer. I spend hours rewriting, editing, reading aloud. Each line feels like a memory. Each paragraph feels like a breath. When I finish, it's already past midnight. I close my laptop and lean back in my chair. I feel tired, but peaceful. For the first time, I have something that feels complete. The next morning, I bring my printed pages to the bookstore. Tom looks at me, surprised. "What's that?" "My book," I say quietly. "Well, maybe not a real book yet, but it's something." He takes the pages carefully and smiles. I knew this day would come. He reads a few lines and nods slowly. "It's beautiful, Emma. You make the ordinary sound magical." I laugh softly. Maybe because life is already magical. We just forget to notice it. He looks at me for a moment and says, "You should share this with the world." Later that week, Tom helps me send the story to a small online magazine. I don't expect much. I just want to share it. Days pass. I almost forget about it. Then one evening, while I'm cleaning the kitchen, I get an email. It says, "Dear Emma, we read your story, A Small Life, and we loved it. We would like to publish it in next month's issue. Your words remind people to slow down and appreciate simple things." I stand there for a moment, frozen, holding my phone. Then I start laughing. Not a loud laugh, a soft, quiet one, full of disbelief and joy. I sit down at the table, put my hand over my heart and whisper, "They liked it." The next day, I tell Tom. He jumps up and hugs me. I told you, Emma." His excitement makes me laugh. Lily calls later and screams with happiness on the phone. "You see? I told you your words could change people." I look at the window. Outside, the sunset paints the sky orange and pink, my favorite colors. Everything feels calm, but inside, something new has started. A dream. Not big or loud, but real. I write in my journal that night. Sometimes, dreams don't arrive with noise. Sometimes, they appear quietly, like a soft knock on the door. You just have to be brave enough to open it. I close the notebook, smile, and turn off the light. Tomorrow will be another ordinary day. But I know now that even ordinary days can lead to extraordinary stories. Weeks pass, and life begins to move in its gentle rhythm again. The bookstore feels the same, the streets look the same, and the people smile the same. But something inside me has changed forever. Every moment now feels deeper, every sound, every word, every silence. My story, A Small Life, is published online. When I first see it, I can hardly believe it's real. My name is printed under the title, and the words I once wrote alone in my small room now live on screens all over the world. I read it slowly, line by line, and feel tears in my eyes. Not because I'm sad, but because it's real. It's proof that even the quietest voice can be heard, that even a small story can touch big hearts. After it's published, I start getting messages from people I've never met. They write things like, "Your story reminded me of my grandmother. I cried while reading. Thank you. You made me slow down and notice my life again." Each message feels like a light turning on inside me. I never imagined my simple words could travel so far. Tom prints one of the messages and hangs it behind the counter. He says, "This is your reminder, Emma. Never stop writing. I laugh, but my heart feels warm. Every morning, I still wake up the same way, to sunlight, coffee, and soft music. But now I write a little every day, even if it's just one paragraph. Writing has become my way of breathing. It helps me understand the world and myself. Sometimes I still doubt myself. Sometimes the words don't come easily. But when that happens, I remember what I learned. That stories aren't about being perfect. They're about being true. When I walk through town, I start noticing new details. The sound of shoes on wet pavement. The way the bakery smells at 8 a.m. The old man feeding pigeons near the park. Everything feels like a story waiting to be told. And maybe it is. One Sunday morning, I visit the lake near my home. It's the same lake I see in the painting on my desk. The water is calm, the sky is soft blue, and the mountains stand quietly in the distance. I sit on a bench, take out my notebook, and start to write. This lake has been here for hundreds of years. It has watched people come and go. Seasons change, and time move quietly. Maybe life is the same. Maybe all we have to do is be still and listen. As I write, I feel something shift inside me. A deep peace, a calm I haven't felt before. It's like all the noise in my head disappears, and what remains is silence and gratitude. A little girl passes by and smiles at me. "Are you writing?" she asks. "Yes," I say softly. "Just a few thoughts." She nods. "I want to write one day too." I smile. Then start. You don't need to wait for the right day. Every day is the right day to begin. She grins and runs back to her parents. I watch her go, and I think, maybe this is what it means to grow. To keep passing the light forward. When I go back home, I look at the small painting again. It's been months since I bought it, but now it feels different. It's not just a picture of the lake anymore. It's a symbol of everything that's changed. The girl who once watched life from her window now writes about it. The woman who once doubted her voice now uses it to help others find theirs. That night, I write another journal entry. I used to believe small lives didn't matter, but now I know small lives create big beauty. Every simple day holds a story worth telling. I close the notebook and look outside. The moonlight fills my room, and I whisper, "Thank you, life, for teaching me how to listen." A few days later, I receive a letter in the mail. It's from a small publishing company. They want to include a small life in a collection of short stories about simple living. I read the letter twice, unable to stop smiling. Then I sit down, hold the paper close, and whisper, "It's really happening." When I tell Tom, he cheers like a child. Lily sends me a voice message saying, "Emma, I'm so proud of you. You showed all of us what quiet strength looks like." I listen to her words with tears in my eyes, because I know she's right, not about success, but about strength. True strength isn't loud. It doesn't shout. It simply keeps going one honest word at a time. That evening, I walk to the hill behind my house. From there, I can see the whole town. The bookstore, the park, the lights turning on one by one. The wind is cool, and the stars begin to appear. I think of everything that has happened. The mornings, the market, the rain, the writing, the fear, the courage, and the small moments that became something beautiful. I whisper softly to myself, I didn't change the world, but I learned to see it differently. And maybe that's enough. The wind carries my words away, and I watch them disappear into the night sky. It's early morning again. The world is quiet, soft, and silver in the first light of dawn. I open my eyes, breathe deeply, and smile. The birds are singing outside, and I can hear the gentle sound of life waking up, the hum of distant cars, the whisper of the wind, the heartbeat of another new day. I walk to the kitchen and pour a cup of coffee. The smell fills the room, warm and familiar. I stand there for a moment, just listening. Every sound, every scent, every tiny moment feels like a gift. I used to rush through mornings like this, always thinking about the next thing, the next goal, the next dream. But now I understand something simple, something true. Peace isn't waiting at the end of the journey. It's right here in the middle of it. I sit near the window and look outside. The street is waking up. A woman walking her dog, a man opening his bakery, a child running to school with a red backpack. It's ordinary, but it's beautiful. I open my notebook, the same one I started months ago, and write a few words on the first blank page. This is not the end. It's a beginning that never stops. Because that's what life really is. A story that keeps unfolding, one quiet moment at a time. The bookstore is busier these days. People sometimes come just to say hello, to tell me that they read my story or that they started writing too. I love hearing that. It makes me realize that small things, a smile, a kind word, a story shared, can move quietly through the world, touching hearts we will never even meet.
Tom always teases me.
He says, "Look at you, Emma, the famous writer of our little town." I laugh every time. I'm not famous, Tom, I say. I'm just grateful. He smiles and replies, "That's what makes your stories special. They come from gratitude." Maybe he's right, because everything I've written, everything I've felt, comes from learning how to see beauty in ordinary things. One afternoon, while organizing new books, I find a small piece of paper tucked between the pages of a novel. It's a note from a customer. The handwriting is neat, soft, and careful. It says, "Thank you for your story, Emma. I used to think my life was too small to matter. Now I understand that small lives hold the biggest truths." I hold the note for a long time. My throat feels tight. I don't know who wrote it, but I know it was meant for me. I put it in my notebook, next to my journal entries, and whisper, "That's exactly how I feel too." Days turn into weeks and weeks into months. Time moves like the pages of a gentle book. Sometimes fast, sometimes slow, but always forward. I still work at the bookstore. I still walk by the lake on Sundays. I still drink coffee by the window every morning. But now, everything feels richer, more meaningful, more alive. When people ask me what changed, I tell them the truth. Nothing changed, except how I see things. And that makes all the difference. One evening, I close the shop alone. The sun is setting behind the mountains, painting the town in gold and pink. I step outside, lock the door, and take a deep breath. The air smells like rain and paper, like endings and beginnings all at once. I start walking home, listening to the rhythm of my footsteps. Each step feels steady, peaceful, and for the first time in a long time, I realize I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. At home, I sit by the window with my journal again. I open it to the last page and begin to write. Life doesn't need to be loud to be meaningful. It doesn't need to be perfect to be beautiful. Every sunrise is a chance to begin again. Every story, even the quiet ones, deserves to be told. I stop for a second, look out at the stars above the mountains, and smile. Thank you, I whisper, to life, to time,
To the stories that brought me here.
Then I close the notebook slowly and rest my hands on top of it. It feels warm, alive, a collection of small moments that became something bigger. Before I go to bed, I leave my window open. The night breeze moves gently through the curtains. I can hear the sound of crickets outside, and somewhere in the distance, the soft laugh of a child. I close my eyes and think of everything I've learned, that courage doesn't always roar, that peace doesn't mean silence, it means understanding, and that every person, no matter how ordinary, carries a story that matters. As I drift into sleep, I whisper one last thought to myself, a thought I hope someone else hears one day and believes. You don't have to live a big life to make it beautiful. You just have to live it fully, one honest moment at a time. This is where Emma's story rests, peaceful, simple, and complete. But her voice, her words, her quiet lessons will stay with anyone who listens. Just like the calm rhythm of a heart that finally learned how to live. And that was today's story. Thank you so much for listening until the end. I hope you enjoyed this calm and simple journey through everyday English. And maybe, like Emma, you also felt how small things can make life beautiful. Remember, every time you listen, your English grows a little stronger. Your ear becomes faster. Your mind becomes clearer. And your confidence becomes brighter. Learning a language is not about rushing. It's about returning, coming back to the sounds, the words, and the feelings again and again, until they become part of you. So, if you like this story, stay with us here on English Listening Practice Hub. We have many more stories, lessons, and podcasts like this one, each made slowly, clearly, so you can improve your English while relaxing. The more you listen, the easier everything becomes. Speaking, understanding, and thinking in English. So don't stop here. Keep listening. Keep growing. And step by step, you'll realize that English doesn't have to be difficult. It can be gentle, natural, and full of meaning. Thank you again for being part of this journey. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell so you won't miss the next story in our listening series. Until next time, listen with focus, learn with patience, and remember, every word you understand today is one step closer to fluency tomorrow.